This is the second module, or the second video of Module 3, talking about cartography in this module. Last time I gave you a basic introduction to cartography. It's the art or technique of making a map. Remember, if it makes a difference where, geography matters. If geography matters, you can use a GIS to tell a compelling geographic story. And the best way to tell a compelling geographic story is with a map, so we need to learn a little bit about how to make a map. In the future, or maybe even now, the cartographic model that will be in vogue is one that uses virtual reality. And you can see this snip from 2014, where Facebook paid $2 billion to buy Oculus, the Oculus Rift virtual reality headset. And so this is a model where the end user of your map is actually the cartographer. So the end user is free to explore the data, explore the information, and go to the places or to the points or to the themes that interest them and figure out what they need to do. And that's kind of the future of cartography. You can see some of it kind of in baby steps on the internet now, where you can drill down and get more details about things. You can have links to information. You can make your map show certain things and not show other things. And so that's where the end user has control over the map. Unfortunately, the way things developed in cartography was they were scratched on a mammoth tusk, or scratched on a piece of rock, or eventually printed on a piece of paper, or plotted in a plotter. And a lot of things involved hard copy. So the map maker, the cartographer, had to make the final product and deliver that to the person who's going to read the map and read that compelling geographic story. So the older communication model that is used for cartography is called the map communication model, and that basically involves a separation between the person who's making the map, who knows the message to be communicated. They use the cartographic process to make the map. They hand that map over to the map reader, the map user, who then interprets the message that's conveyed by that single map. Hopefully there's a feedback loop in there to make sure that the person who's reading the map is getting the message that you intend when you make the map. So there's a feedback loop in there. But if I just give you a piece of paper, you can understand what it is I'm trying to tell you or not, depending upon how you perceive the map. So this is the more traditional or classic model of cartography. Like academics tend to do, they can expand models or contract models, or say there's 20 types of these things or 10 types of these things. And in a while I'll talk a little bit more about that in map making. That's called classification. But in the communication model, when you drill down and look at some of the details, this is a nice illustration that shows some of the details of that communication model. So you can see that it's a model, and I have a circle here representing reality. Okay, so the cartographer's reality is some subset of all of reality. So it's a model. It's a simplification or generalization of reality. Cartographer has one concept of what reality is. The person who's reading the map may have a different concept of what reality is. So the goal in making the map is sending a message that falls somewhere in the intersection, so that the cartographer's reality and the map user's reality intersect, and the user will be able to understand the message that the cartographer is sending. Some of the key components that are involved in making maps are the components that make sure that the language that the cartographer uses when they make the map is the same language that the map reader understands when they read the map. So there are standard components of cartographic language that I'll be talking about in the next couple of videos. Things like symbology or color or classification methods. So that's kind of the elements of basic cartography that this module covers. The classical communication model and how you might make a map that conveys a reality that the map user will be able to understand. This comes from your book, and it kind of compresses this process, the cartographic process, from 20-some steps like the last one showed to this 5-step model. And the key piece of this, at least for this module's consideration, is step 4, and that's how you design and construct the map using the appropriate cartographic principles. The actual construction of the map will be left up to you in the labs when you have to make maps using the GIS. The design of the map is what's covered in these lectures, and it's more about concepts involved in cartographic language that's understandable by the reader and that the map creator can use. So in the next video, I'll talk a little bit about symbology and cartographic language kind of standards for what type of symbology you should use depending upon what kind of information it is that you're conveying in your map. So that'll be next time.